All right, what's up, YouTube? Dreadmaster Yugioh here with who?
David Belonge.
And what did you do today?
I made top 8 here at the Indianapolis Regional.
What deck did you play?
I played Vanquish Canine.
All right, you want to do shout-outs now or after?
Now, if you want.
Go for it.
Shout out Rivals.
Knew that was... Whoops.
Always think of Rivals. But shout out to Warehouse, Cards and Collectibles in Mishawaka. Shout out to all my boys here who came with.
We're just here to get his sweat.
Supported me. And yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Alright, so we got 3 Raisin, 3 Mad Love, 3 Sue, and 3 Jiaolong. It's all the 3-ofs for the Vanquish Souls. Some people only play 2 Jiaolong. It's just more consistency to have the 5 in the fire. It can be a brick sometimes, but just turning on some of the Canine cards a little bit more often comes up. It for those, and then the 2-ofs. I played 2 Borger, thought about cutting it down to 1, but it's just a good card to have in your hand. A lot of times people will try to imperm the normal summons, like the Raisin and the Mad Love, and if you have this, they just get punished. So it's also just a really good card. And then 1 Caesars. This is just kind of like an end board piece. It lets you play around certain things. It's big. It makes itself unaffected by stuff. Just kind of just a good overall card. It's also an Earth, which is important. That's it for the main deck Vanquish Soul Monsters.
Alright.
For the Canines, we got Izuna. This card is insane. It was used more against me on my turn than I used it on my opponent's turns, which is unfortunate, but every time I had this in my hand, I felt really safe, especially if I had like Holy Sue and some of the Vanquish Soul plays with it. It's just insane. Really, really good card. And then I play 3 of the Jokul. Jonkler. He's really good. Obviously, it specials any of the 5s out of your hand with him. Then just the search is really nice because like you can either get this for to have just in your hand as another interruption on the opponent's turn, or you can search for the Lantern if you don't have it, which is this one. It just lets you extend further. You search a spell or trap. In my version, you don't really use that effect super often, and I'll show you why when we get to the extra deck. And then the 1 Lupus, yeah, it's the driver of the deck, but it's okay. I mean, drawing it's not that bad because if they stop the Izuna and you have it in hand, they get punished. Also, in really, really bad scenarios like what happened one game today, just having this in your hand and just using it at the end of their turn and just summoning a Typhon to have something on the beginning of your turn to just bait something out is really, really good. And then that's it for the Canine Monsters. For non-engine hand traps, we just did 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 1 Shifter. This card was insane against Yummy. I only played against 1 Yummy, and I feel really bad because game 1 I drew it, and then game 2 I drew it, and it was just the game. So yeah, I wouldn't cut it. I sided out a lot, but it's just really powerful. And nobody expects to really run into it because it's at 1, so it's just really sacky. And then the last card in the main deck is Protos. So this card wasn't that consistent today. I didn't summon it very often, mainly just used it as a dark attribute in hand, but the one game that I did summon it, it just locked the game and just turned off the game basically. It was over after that. I didn't have to think anymore. And that's it for the monsters. I believe there is 31 monsters in this deck, and I play 9 spells. So the 1-ofs, I do Talents, Called By, and Rhoda. Those are the 1-of generic spells, and then for the Canine, I do 1 Force Release and 1 Case. I drew this card a lot today, which makes it kind of iffy on playing it, but when it resolved, it was just insane. And the non-target destruction is just really versatile, and it outs a lot of random stuff. So I like to have it in the deck. And then the 1 Vanquish Soul field spell, and then the 3 Stake Your Soul. I drew the field spell a lot today, which wasn't bad either, because people would like interact with my summons, and then I would just play this, and they'd just get punished, because I would just add Holy Sue and just start extending. And this card's obviously really, really good. And that's it for the main deck. And then for the extra deck, got 2 Rock, 1 SP. That's all for the links. Was playing the Baguska out, but it never really came up much in testing, and I didn't really need it today, so that's all I did there. And then we got 1 Werewolf and 1 Ripper. I don't think you really need more than 1 Ripper, so just played 1. And then for the Nash Knight package. This card was insane, like absolutely broken. It lets you pop the case and get to the quick play. That's why I don't really use the lantern effect too often.
Right.
And then every time this card was on the field, it just put so much pressure on my opponent that all the other interruption was just enough to win the game, and people would just scoop. And then for other cards, played the Side Blaster, Paradise, and this. I didn't summon either of these today, actually.
His opponent did, and he still cooked them.
Yeah. But I did summon this against my one Draco Tail matchup, and it just stole the match. Like game 1, I went first, made an unbeatable board, and then game 2, I just baited out his interactions, made this, and swung for 8,800 damage. And so this card really came up. Glad I played it, because I don't know how that match would have went if I didn't have it. And then one Rocks, which I never summoned today, but it's kind of just a flex spot, and it might come up type thing. And then Typhon and Zeus, which both were summoned a lot today, and they both were really good. So that's it for the extra deck.
How much was the main deck count?
40.
Okay, and then
Yep,
the extra
31
15.
monsters, 9 spells.
Okay, is there anything you would change from the main or the extra?
Yeah, probably the Protos. I'd probably move that to the side deck. It just wasn't as useful as I thought it would be. I didn't play against a lot of Malice or Mitsurugi. I only played against one Mitsurugi, and it was my round 1, and that was the round that I lost. And other than that, it was all like new decks. Besides round 2, I played against Chainburn guy. So I don't know. That was random. But everything else was like Vanquish Soul, Yummy, Draco Tail. So I don't know. Probably the Protos. I would change that. I don't know what I'd put in instead. I might name the Trap. This is in the side deck. There was a lot of game 1s where I just missed out on this card because I had the right setup for it, but I just didn't have this in my main deck. So I don't know how much it would have changed, but I might put this back in the main. But the side deck here is the 2 Kaijus to respect the Liger Dancer for Lunalight, so I was afraid of that deck. 2 Pankratops for Yummy. Didn't really side this in ever because I just shifted the guy, so I didn't really need it. But 3 Lancia for Malice, obviously, and then any other random rogue decks that like to banish. 3 Droll, which came in a lot. It was mainly in all the Canine BS decks that I played against. I put that in all the time. And then I played 1 Harpies and 2 Regeki. So I was really debating on this card between Dark Ruler and Book of Eclipse, but I found that this card kind of solved more of the problems that I was worried about, which is mainly like the mirror match and like the forced release. Because Dark Ruler, they can still use that and still go into the werewolf and everything. So it's also just, people just don't expect this. It was okay today. I didn't really like steal any games of it, but it was solid. And then for going first, the 2 traps. There can be only one in Vanquish Soul Snow Devils. I was actually playing Anti-Spell for a while. I ended up cutting it. But I don't know. Maybe I would put it in over this because there was really never a moment where I decided this in. Most of my matchups were the mirror match, so this card was just a dead card in my side. Anti-Spell probably would have been pretty good. So, but yep, that's a 15 side deck.
Anything you would change about the side deck?
Yeah, probably just that there can be only one. Yeah, I'd probably just cut these 2. I don't know what I'd maybe the Anti-Spell, but I would definitely put this in the main and put the Protos in here. So, I also kind of was looking into Shared Ride. That's a pretty good card too. I just couldn't get him in time, but that's the deck.
All right. Any final thoughts? Any final shoutouts?
No, I'm just surprised that I did so well, honestly. I haven't had the most testing with this deck, but it's just so powerful. And I played pretty well once the day started rolling, so I was happy with the performance. I was happy that everyone here was here with me, rooting me on and everything. And yeah, can't complain.
All right, and you got 5th place after
Yep,
space?
fifth place.
All right. All right, well, thank you for the deck profile, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.